afternoon, everybody. This is Dennis Wilburn, the Active Trend Trader. I want to welcome you to today's session. It is the 29th of April, and the markets were up, they were down, now they're back up, closed the day off. Interesting day. We've got earnings that are happening after hours with Amazon, MasterCard, and Team. We'll be taking a look at least Amazon in that mix. And I also want to visit what took place with both Facebook and Apple that helped drive just the interesting price action today. Anyway, I did a little bit of a blurb earlier in the day about not trying to analyze what's going on midday. And so that's up on the Instagram stories or my post on Instagram. You might want to take a look at that. Gives you some ideas on what to do in order to not, basically have a better idea of what's going on in a day, how to do your, what's a better way to do your analysis and not get hung out to dry. So let's see. Okay, if you join us live and you have a stock for us to take a look at, just drop a ticker symbol in the down in the chat box, and I'll take a look at that in just a bit. Let's go ahead and jump into today's. We got, like I said, we got a lot of stuff to cover today. We are in the throes of earning, and so I want to start off with the S&P. As you see with S&P, what do we have going on? Does anybody know that what kind of a candlestick pattern that is on the on today's price action? Just drop it a note down in the chat box. As you see, here's what's going on. We basically came down. Price action was very interesting. We gapped up, we fell down, and then we basically pushed back up to close to the highs of the day. And that left what appears to be a hammer. However, since this is not at the end of a downtrend, it is not a hammer. It's called a hanging man, or this one here is very close to a dragonfly doji. What is the essence of what is the meaning of a hanging man? Well, basically it's a bearish reversal signal. It can be sometimes a very powerful one, and oftentimes leads to a little bit of a pullback. What else do we have going on here with the S&P that we need to take a look at? One, TSI, the momentum indicators. Yes, it has started to turn. However, making new highs here, not so on the moving average on the TSI. It is basically just starting to roll back up. Oftentimes we can push to higher highs, but when negative divergence starts to show up, it can be a predictive of a move back down to the downside. And so right now, yeah, we're pushing on up. What do I need to do? Got my Fibonacci in there. What do I need to do now that I have closed at a new high above this last Fibonacci level? Well, one, this Fibonacci is that I drew on here previously is not any longer valid. I need to go ahead and click out of that, go ahead and grab another fib, and I'll go through along the same level from here up to now the new high. Now, if this reversal signal today, this hammer, results in this being a substantial new high, then we would anticipate a pull back down to where? Back into at least the 23. As you can see, asterisk support there at the 23% retracement level, also right on top of the 20-day moving average. So it would not surprise me to see us break down here a little bit, do a nice little flag down. Ideally, if we did a nice little flag down, that would be great for us because then we could plan a trade to get into that to the upside a little bit later. And so let's see what else we got going on. So that's what we have going on with the S&P. The other thing I want to be taking a look at is the Qs. Now, NASDAQ also did a, interesting. You see on NASDAQ, yes, it pushed above the past high, but it did not stay with the breakout. The breakout with the NASDAQ did not stick. Take a look. I want to just double check this against the actual NASDAQ. Because oftentimes you will get the ETFs that represent the indexes, and they'll be off a little bit with regards to where they finish up at. So yes, the price action was up a little bit, but what did the NASDAQ wind up looking like? Always a good question to ask. As you say, very, very similar. Here is the, so on this one we had a breakout. I'll call it a breakout fake out, if you will. Just barely got its nose above the high from right there. Slightly, then came back down into the below the level of resistance there made by this swing high from 416. Price action on the NASDAQ pushed down and through the 8-day moving average. Unlike the S&P, it pushed down and right on top of the 8-day and then rebounded from there. One of the things midday, when I was taking a look at this, midday, what was happening with the NASDAQ, we were actually, the price action was down below the 8-day moving average. It is a positive for it to pull back up. So we're getting kind of mixed signals here. Unable to break through, make a strong move through support or resistance, excuse me. However, we did hold up above the 8-day moving average, which is the positive side. TSI, what is that telling us? TSI is still, it is basically in the downward, heading in the downward direction. As you can see, the TSI actually, if it did cross a little bit today to the upside, it is now uncrossed and is pointing down. So until we get a nice move up here, we'll just have to, hang on, hang loose until that happens. NASDAQ all the way down to almost past lows. We do continue to stab an order in to buy some of the TQQ. However, TQQ, where's it? Where's our wholesale purchase area that we're looking at? It's down here about the 104 level, which is right here, meeting last week's lows. We may not make it down there this week. We just may not, but we'll keep our eye on it. Do we have anything that we want to trade on the other way? Is always a good question to ask. What is the inverse of the leverage ETFs doing? Well, as you can see, it basically, the TSI has crossed to the upside. However, it's not looking very strong either. So I would favor the bullish side rather than the bearish side. So TQQ, yes. SQQ, not really. IWM, the Russell's ETF. What kind of signal did that give us today? Okay, if you look closely, this is a very interesting. Okay, we have a bearish engulfing pattern on the candlestick today. Again, it's partly a good news, bad news type of situation. One, the indexes were mixed. So they're not in sync with each other. And it looks as if, price action on the Russell got up into past levels of, there's levels of supply up here where people want to sell and get out. And we reached up there and tagged those and then reversed and sold off. Sold off encompassed both yesterday and Thursday's price action. So we have a bearish engulfing covering 2 days. Prices, though, today, we have to pay attention to what did this look like early in the day. Well, prices started up here. It gapped open. Then sellers came in, pushing it down all the way to the 8-day moving average. And then later on in the day, buyers came in off the 8, pushed it back up to about midway. Still, it's a bearish, I would say it's a bearish signal with a little bit of bullish inclination in that the buyers did come in where? Right at a level of past support, as shown by these breakout areas over here. So this is where we'd anticipate a move up. Now, do we have a trade to the upside or downside? At this time, no. I would say that the ideal area was if they retest back in here. But again, there's no pattern here. That's why we want to just be very careful. There's no flag pattern to trade off of. The day does make a new low day. So in reality, if you're trading, taking a trade on the high of the low day, it means you're going to have to wait until this day is in fact busted to the upside. And if that happens, it's right back into what? Look to your left, right back into a level of supply, right in this area here with all this stuff where the sellers came in last time. That's what we have working on that. I'm going to cover then. So let's jump over to Amazon to see how it's doing after hours. Okay, Amazon looks like it's getting a good tag up this in the after hours. It's up about $100. Now you got to remember this is a $3,500 stock, so $100 is only what's that? And that's kind of interesting right there. If $100 is on a $3,500 stock is only a 2.8% move. As you can see, it has not started its after hours earning conference call yet. So price action, they were happy about something that happened with Amazon. However, reached up here. Is that a new all-time high? Don't know. One of the tips I have for folks is that if we are up there painting an all-time new high, go ahead in the after hours time frame and go ahead and paint that with a trend line or a horizontal trend line, if you will, and then move that across, let it shoot over to the right and the left. We're extended to the left. There we go. And now when I go back to the daily and the weekly, I can just take a real quick look. Am I above that level? Another area I want to highlight is, of course, these past highs here. Here's some intraday past highs, but I certainly want to take a look at the past high here, or bounce over here to, I've got some past highs here. That's the breakout. Now, we already had a breakout a couple of days ago, early in the week, and it actually came down and retested against that breakout earlier in the day, and then we're pushing up here. We're 35.82 right now. So again, I'll check that first thing in the morning, see how it's doing, to see if it's going to hold on to its gains. Take a look at this on the weekly chart. Now the weekly chart, where was that high? Okay, there's the high we drew in from the gap out, okay? Yeah, it is. Okay, that is the high from the gap. And as you can see, that is above anything in the past. So that makes an all new high. And the other thing from a bullish standpoint is that's a strong bullish type signal for Amazon to the upside. Yeah, and get that back in play. That's what we got going on Amazon. What else do we have to look at? I want to take a real quick look at MasterCard. What's MasterCard doing after hours? MasterCard, a little bit of a sell-off after hours, as you can see here. but not a lot to write home about. So again, nothing to really write home about. When I say that, what I mean is it's just hanging right in there. No big, huge reaction. What about team? Yeah, a little bit of a reaction off a team. However, it's not able. Team is unable to push back through these past levels of resistance up here. So we'd have to take that as being kind of a negative. If we can't break through the 237, 238 level, followed by the 245 level, then that would be taken as a sign of weakness for team. What about the other stocks that we were watching going into today? Why did the market do what it did? Well, primarily because Apple, which had good earnings and basically gapped up. See how it wound up. Okay, Apple gapped above past resistance, but then almost immediately started selling off, sold off down below the 8-day moving average. This is a bearish engulfing of several days worth of effort on Apple. And as you can see, didn't even come close to making the TSI turnaround to the upside. And so we may look at, if we continue to drop down, watch for Apple to come back and retrace potentially down to either the 20 or the 34. Once you close below a moving average, it increases the probability that you're going to come down and touch the next level or dynamic support at another moving averages. So keep that in mind. Apple, and then the other one that we were looking at was Facebook. Facebook? Okay, Facebook. Absolutely, gapped up way above past resistance. So this is a legitimate breakout. What I want to do is I want to lay in well, first of all, the first thing I want to do is I want to get rid of all the other drawings on here. So let's just clear the drawing sets. Clear the drawing. There, everything's gone now. And I want to draw in a support level at that past high. That's the one we took out. That's one. And over the next few weeks, few days, there will be a strong potential, about 65 to 75% of all stocks that break out like this will do a pullback towards the breakout level. Now, how far will it get close to the breakout level? We don't know at this time. We don't have a crystal ball. However, it's kind of interesting as you see this gap up, and from yesterday's high to today's low, that 316 level is about halfway. For anytime you have a gap like this, the halfway point is the strongest level, in this case, of support. Okay, so that's what we're looking at with Facebook. Another one that let's take another one that could impact what's going to be going on tomorrow is NIO, the Chinese electric vehicle company, competitor with Tesla. It did earnings when? It did earnings after the market today. And what is the reaction? Not much of anything. So we sold off into the day, and then this darker gray area shows that there has been little reaction, if any. This is another one to check in the morning, though, because we are attempting to find an opening to get into Tesla. So we'll continue to wait. And Tesla could be in lockstep with. That's pretty darn similar type of a pattern there. Daily. Yeah, Tesla is looking like we're going to go back down and look for additional levels of support. One level of support is here. We'll see if that holds. And so nothing wrong with us drawing that level of support in. And if we hold right there, great. If we don't, we could bounce on down to that uptrending trend line. Yeah. So as you see, it is finding a support. However, this is not a reversal candlestick, and also the TSI has not reversed yet either. So that basically is where we're at right now, folks. Don't really have anything else to cover. If you're watching on YouTube and you're not a subscriber, then go ahead and hit the subscribe button and hit the bell and give us a thumbs up. If you have a stock you want us to take a look at, leave it in the comments there, and we'll take a look at that going into next week. This is the last on the radar that we will do for this week. Tomorrow we will have on, how to make money trading stocks goes off at 11 a.m. Pacific time. 11 a.m. Pacific time on the YouTube channel. You can join there. That's Market Tech Talk. You can join there live with the live stream, or if you're an active trend trading member, you'll get an email giving you the link so you can join us live. Which, that's always a lot of fun because that way you can ask your questions, all that kind of stuff. If you want to know how to join for the free membership with active trend trading, just do me a DM and we can chat about that. If you're watching this on Instagram or Instagram TV, again, refer it to your friends, share it all across, everywhere that you can think of sharing it, and that's it. So till tomorrow, and how to make money trading stocks and options. Aloha. God bless everybody.